guess that's a great segue into podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and start, I guess. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fantasy Forge cast. Today we're going to be talking about the classic WoW experience and how Blizzard announced that they're bringing it back. Today joining me is Jaryd. How are you doing, Jaryd?
What up? I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. So let's go ahead and get into it. What's your history with Vanilla WoW?
I started playing basically right after launch. I think it came out either first or second semester of our freshman year of high school, and I started like that summer basically. So like once most of my friends had already started playing, I jumped in, and I played that a really long time until Burning Crusade came out, and I stopped playing after that for a little while.
Yeah, I sold my account before Burning Crusade came out. I got 20 bucks for it. Not worth the time spent into it, but whatever. So about this big announcement that they just came out with, when do you think that they'll actually release classic servers?
Looking at this from completely just a business perspective, I think that they are definitely going to release the next expansion first, and then I'm thinking at least 4 to 6 months after that, I think the WoW Classic will be released.
Yeah. So what, like a year from now, a year and a half?
Yeah, I'd say a year and a half probably.
Damn, that's so long away.
Yeah, but I mean, just looking at it from a fiscal perspective, like they want to make the most money, obviously.
Yeah, I don't see them doing it any other way, to be honest. I mean, their numbers from whatever expansion they released, they probably drop off significantly after like 2 months, I imagine.
Yeah,
I feel like you can do all the content now like super easy. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't play retail, and I haven't played anything really after Burning Crusade. I played Burning Crusade on some private servers, and it was fun. But there were some things I didn't like about it, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Why do you think they just started doing it now? Why do you think they just made that announcement now?
I mean, I'm not entirely sure. Like, I kind of had a silly conspiracy, and I say silly because I really don't believe it. But conspiracy. I think that they've been a part of the legacy servers all along, and have kind of like systematically shut them down for whatever reason, be it a new expansion coming out, or they just want to maintain control or whatever. But I think they've kind of had a hand in it all along, and now that they see, like, I don't know if it's just because Classic was announced or not, but I kind of feel like there's more people playing legacy servers than there has ever been.
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe they realize, we need to start making money off of this in a more direct way, and also, eventually the expansions are going to stop for retail WoW, so they need a venue after that to keep making money.
I think WoW is going to continue on just like The Simpsons, man. I don't know if it'll ever stop.
Yeah, I agree.
Crazy.
Like, whenever I think of a good, well-rounded game and MMO at that, I think of World of Warcraft, obviously.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, for me, it's taken a nosedive from what it used to be.
Yeah, I guess I should say more specifically Vanilla WoW.
Oh, definitely. Okay, you're talking about, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vanilla, of course, definitely. Yeah, it is.
I mean, what else would you think of when I say World of Warcraft?
All right. Yeah, I think, I imagine, I mean, they did have that Nostalrius petition. What did it get, like 90,000 signatures of people like wanting?
Yeah, it was a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people, and then they flew out the NOS team to go have a meeting with them. I was listening to one of the guys in that meeting, and he was talking about it, and he said the Blizzard employees that were talking to him, they're really cool, and they were just like super interested in knowing how they did it. So it could be that they just didn't know what to do, or if I have no idea. I feel like Blizzard's not that stupid, but
yeah,
who really knows,
and
right?
maybe it just took them a while to like get the top execs to okay it and, see the potential in it.
Yeah, how much money we can get. And they are hiring for positions for classic vanilla.
Yeah, and that excites me too, because hopefully that means that they're actually going to put time and effort into it.
Right. Well, yeah. It's Blizzard, so you know they will, right?
Right.
They're not going to half-ass it. I mean, so what do you think the payment model is going to be like for classic WoW?
I don't really see any veering off from what's currently out there. Like, I think that you're going to be able to pay for it monthly, or you can be able to do the voucher through in-game gold if you want.
You think they're going to do in-game gold for vanilla WoW?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what we were just talking about not too long ago, right? About how you can, people can spend money on this voucher, and then it goes into the game, and then they sell that voucher on the auction house for in-game gold. And then, so people don't have to pay for it, but if they want to make more gold, they can, do that by selling these.
So you're saying, you think that in classic WoW, they'll have like a voucher system that you can buy with real money, take that voucher that you got and put it on the auction house and sell it for gold?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone wins in that situation, even Blizzard.
I think there will be an outrage if that happens. That's great. That's buying gold.
Yeah, but it gets rid of the people who do it for a living, at least on a broad perspective, aka Chinese gold farmers.
Yeah. I mean, does it? I don't know. I feel like maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I feel like the Chinese gold farmers, all of a sudden now they just have, they just have to undercut Blizzard for that. The only benefit is that you can buy, it'd be funny if people are actually buying gold from the Chinese farmers and then buying those vouchers. If it made sense.
Yeah, but they're just it's gonna be not really worth their while as much as what it does, I think. I think that's way too big of a risk to take. For them. Yeah, I mean, Jagex did
it. But I could see it happening.
Yeah.
I could see him fucking everything up. I mean, really. What I was thinking was that they would just have you have the base game, obviously, and then all the expansions to be able to play classic WoW. Because a lot of people are saying, I just want the base game. Like, I don't want to buy all the expansions too. And then you have your $15 a month or whatever.
Right, yeah. I mean,
I think they should just let you just have the base game and then pay $15 a month, but
you can do that, I think, right? Even in retail? Yeah, but you can only play
what's available. From all the content, right?
Right. But you can still chat with your friends and all of that, especially with the Battle.net application versus, just server talking.
Yeah.
Which I hope they keep that. I'm sure they will.
Yeah, I'm sure they will as well. I don't see them getting rid of that. It's kind of a nice feature, actually.
Yeah. I like it a lot.
I wonder if they'll integrate. Do they have it integrated into retail WoW right now? Like you can.
Yes, and they had it in, I think, as early as Warcraft, if I'm not mistaken.
How was that?
I liked it a lot. You can talk to anybody who's on your Battle.net friends list, which is really cool.
Can you add? Okay, yeah. There's nothing in game that you right click on someone's portrait and then it shows their battle tag ID and then you add them through Battle.net.
Right. Yeah.
There's nothing like that.
No, that's what it is. Yeah.
Oh, there is something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty well. Actually, it's been too long since I've been in retail, so it might be split. Like you might be able to add just their in-game name, or you might be able to add their Battle.net account as well. I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, you can get one from the other, but it might be distinguished. I don't know.
Right. I hope they just keep it in the game, and then if you want to add someone on Battle.net, ask them for their tag or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like an all-in-house type feature. It doesn't really make that big difference, especially with things like Discord,
Yeah. Yeah, back then everyone was using Ventrilo and TeamSpeak.
Right, and Battle.net has their own type of you know, how do I explain it? Basically like a Ventrail system, but I don't like it as much.
Yeah. So we were just talking about them possibly implementing like the token system where you can buy in-game time with gold. What other changes do you think that they might make to Classic WoW? Anything?
What changes do you think they might make, or what changes they want?
Well, let's cover both. But what do you think they might make first?
So first of all, I hope that they don't make any large changes without consulting the community first. And I would really like them to implement like a voting system, basically, especially since it's going back to the base game. Like, and obviously the reason they're going back is because people feel like they messed it up in the first place. So that being said, you know, I hope they don't make any huge changes without us voting on it, but you know, I'm really not entirely sure.
The voting system might be actually pretty interesting because since it is vanilla WoW, we don't have to worry about like all the people that like Legion, you know, like they like Legion for the instant gratification and like how the really, you know, path of least resistance.
Right.
And with the vanilla WoW community, it's a totally different demographic. So I could see the voting system probably working.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna if they do implement that, they're gonna have to be smart about it. And what I mean by that is basically like instead of, you know, allowing voting right away as soon as the game launches, I think they need to wait at least 2 to 3 months before they have any type of voting. So that way all the people who are just there for the hype train start to taper off, and it's more of like the consistent and hardcore gamers that, you know, are the ones who wanted this in the first place,
right,
will be able to vote and have their voices heard.
And honestly, they should balance the game around the hardcore gamers. Like even the noobs, even all the newbies, they look forward, or they look kind of I don't know what to say, like the hardcore gamer is like something that they want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like you walk around and you see someone in all this badass gear and you're like, well, that's who I want to be, you know, whenever I get to that level or whatever, put in the work. And I think the hardcore gamers, they absolutely know how the game should be handled, you know, as opposed to somebody who isn't kind of dedicating their life to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that.
There was actually a post on the Blizzard forums, and they did like a little poll, and they said, would you like us to do class balance, or what do you think about if we made some class balance changes? Do you think that would be bad?
So I think that they should not do any balancing beforehand, and I think they should just have vanilla in its current state and let gamers work things out. And I mean, obviously people have worked things out on private servers, but it's going to be a little different on retail servers, and they should let people, you know, work out the balancing on their own. And if it's, you know, completely one-sided, or people are just using cookie cutter builds or whatever, in arena specifically, not just like PvP in general, but you know, if a certain build wins arena all the time,
there isn't going to be arena, right?
I hope there is. I think that would be one good change. Yeah, but you know, it's classic. Well, it's not necessarily vanilla, but
that's true.
I'm hoping they add it in eventually. Maybe not right away, but once people decide, you know, hey, you know, we actually don't like this, we think there needs to be some balancing, go ahead and rework it, you know, give us beta balancing builds, and we'll tell you if we like it or not, and if we do, then implement it, and then give us arena, you know. Yeah,
arena is the only PvP, like instanced PvP, that I approve of. I think it'd be cool if they added arena, but I really hope they don't add all the stuff that came with it. And what I mean by that is like all like the really, really high level PvP gear, I'm not a big fan of. I think that the PvE gear should be like the top, you know, because it takes the most coordination with other people and socializing and putting all this time in and grouping to really achieve it. So I think that should be the best gear. And I almost think that the PvP gear is, I mean, pretty much it was just no lifing battlegrounds. That's how you got to the top rank, you know?
Yeah, I definitely think that Battlegrounds has its place. I think it can just be kind of like a breather from Arena.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they should incentivize it more. So I like getting the cool things like the mounts and whatever from getting reputation from like Altaric Valley, for instance. But also I think that I kind of like the system where you kind of just, so maybe they should tone down the farming aspect of it so you don't have to do as much to get, you know, like that basic PvP gear, and then you can jump into Arena. And then, you know, I agree with you, you know, that's where the most skill is needed, most cooperation and communication, and it should have the best gear in the game. You know, not obviously for PvP gear, yeah, but not. Oh, you said PvE?
Yeah, I was talking about PvE gear. I think PvE gear should be like the top dog.
I mean, I agree with that as well.
You know what I really disliked was what was that stupid stat that they added on the PvP gear that made it so you took like less damage from everybody. You didn't get critted as hard. They had
mastery. Was it mastery?
No, it was like resilience. I think that was, they introduced all that stuff in Burning Crusade, and I hated that, man.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't know. I just didn't like the separation they made from the PvP side and the PvE side. I think when you just have PvE be like the dominant factor in terms of gearing, that it makes the whole world seem a lot more congruent and kind of organic or something.
Gotcha. Instead of having to farm battlegrounds at all.
Yeah, instead of having just like these two sides of WoW that you're playing. You know, you have one where you just sit in the capital city, you click, you talk to a guy, and then you see a loading screen. You know, and also with battlegrounds is it takes away from the open world PvP, which is like huge. You know, back before the world battlegrounds, it was just like Hillsbrad foothills, and it was just like a clusterfuck of everyone like raping each other.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Yeah, so they should incentivize world PvP more and just, you know, take out any type of item-based reward or armor-based reward from Battlegrounds and just give it all to world PvP. That would be a really cool take on it, actually.
That's pretty interesting, actually. You know, they had
if there was a good way to implement that. I think they kind of did that with I think it was Burning Crusade, where you could like take over towers or something.
Yeah, they had that in Vanilla too, in Eastern Plaguelands.
Yeah,
they had those little contested zone like areas that you go take over that tower and you hold it or whatever.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, that was cool, but it pretty much fell flat on its face because there was like, why would I do that when I can just, you know, this is the path of least resistance.
Right. And, yeah. Exactly.
You know, every person's gonna take the path of least resistance.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, it just makes sense. That's what we do.
Yeah. I think, I pretty much agree with you on the class balance. Like, wait for a bit and then make some changes. I think there's some class balances that need to be addressed, of course. I mean, some of them are pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can, I don't really think there are PvE balance issues, but if there were, then they could address those right away. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Because it makes the most sense when you're versing someone, when you're fighting somebody and you lose and you feel like you were cheated, then that's when it's a problem. But I do like the balance system they have where these classes are kind of like a rock, paper, scissors balancing, you know, like rogue beats mage beats warrior, you know, etc. Stuff like that. You just have like an innate advantage against those other classes. I do like that balancing system quite a bit.
Yeah, and one thing I just thought of, that since we talked about PvE or whatever, is that, you know, maybe they could actually, if people wanted it, like, you know, everyone's obviously rated pretty much everything in vanilla WoW, and they've got it down to a science and muscle memory, basically. What if they had the time, you know, what if they altered the bosses a little bit and made them more difficult? I
completely agree. I really hope we see some different kind of scripting on the bosses and stuff, just to shake things up a little bit, you know, because I've played vanilla so many times, man. I've played it on so many different private servers. I've leveled up so many times. Like, it would be kind of refreshing to see if they put kind of like their own little spin on it, but didn't take it out of control. Like just freshen things up, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And that could be, and then I don't know, new content maybe down the road or something like that, possibly. Like keep it level 60.
Yeah, and I'm thinking way down the road. You know, I want to do everything possible in vanilla WoW before they even think about releasing another expansion or what have you. You know?
Yeah, that'd be cool if they did progressive servers with these classic ones. I think they probably will, to be honest.
Yeah, that way people can choose to stay or continue on if they want. I like that idea.
It makes sense if they did progressive servers because they're pretty much just like milking the whole life cycle of WoW over again.
Right, and if they don't do that, if they don't distinguish, then people are just gonna go on private servers again.
Yeah. What do you think about like updated models and animations? Like we just have the nice looking models and animations from retail WoW.
I was actually thinking about that not too long ago, or earlier tonight. You know, I was thinking about stuff to talk about on here, but I'm 50-50 on it, actually. Like, I like the nostalgic idea of just having the original models and graphics, but I also kind of want updated, you know, like effects and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm kind of indifferent, and I think that's something that is definitely a good example vote for people to decide on.
Yeah, it's definitely a touchy subject. I mean, people are like crazy. I see so many comments of people saying if they touch anything in Classic WoW, if they alter it just a little bit from the vanilla experience, like I'm not going to bother playing it. You know,
yeah.
Like I honestly, I want to see the updated models and animations because I think they look pretty good.
Yeah, nice. I mean, if it were possible, it probably isn't. I don't know if they had to do engine rework or not. Mm-hmm. If they didn't, then if it were possible to like just flip a switch and, you know, have the distinguishment between them, you know, basically you have the update or not, as far as graphics go, then that would be cool. But I feel like it'd probably be not possible, maybe.
Yeah, they could leave it client side too.
Right.
So it's not forced upon everybody. That'd be another thing. That's the thing. As long as there's multiple options for everybody, you just have an option to participate in something as like simple as, you know, just updated models. I think that'd be nice. I know people are gonna hate me for saying that I want updated models, but they look nice, and I played so much WoW. I'm even playing vanilla WoW right now on private server, and it's just like, yeah, I'd like to look at something different.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. Like I said, I'm not strongly opinionated either way, basically.
Right. Yeah, I don't really mind either way, to be honest. So, do you think a lot of people will be coming back to play Classic? I mean, do you think people from retail will jump ship?
Yes, absolutely. Especially if it's a hit right off the bat. I think everyone's gonna be interested at least, and will come check it out. You know, if that's a week, a day, a month, you know, a couple months, whatever. I think there will definitely be like a bell curve of, you know, how many people play at start to continuation. But
I think once people get in and they kind of get like their nostalgia fix, they're like, yeah, moving on back to retail. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, then that's why I was talking about having a vote, you know, not right away as well, for that exact reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what was,
you know, unless that would keep people playing it more, but I don't know. Yeah, I think going back to the conversation about catering to the hardcore gamers, I think that's the right move in this situation.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely need you can't cater to the, you know, the largest demographic like they have been doing, or else the game just kind of becomes not very focused anymore. And we can talk about the changes they made over time and the long-term effect they had. So flying mounts, like I do not like flying mounts. I think they're cool in concept and everything, but there's so many drawbacks to having flying mounts, right?
Yeah, 100% no for me.
Yeah, I mean, flying mounts when they introduced in BC, it made the world smaller. It took away challenge because you just fly over all the mobs. World PvP diminished even more than I already had. So flying mounts, yeah, bad. Something that I could see them adding, and I hope they don't, is the Transmog System.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Dude, that's so. I hate the Transmog System, dude. It's so fucking bad.
Yeah, and no, I don't like it at all. I do think that if people want to change their appearance client side, I think that should be allowed, and we'll probably touch on that more in the add-ons, topic. Yeah. But I definitely think that is fine as long as it doesn't change hitboxes or give them an advantage in any way. But yeah, no transmog as well, for sure.
I mean, yeah, and also it just kind of makes it feel not as immersive when you see like a mage transmogged, like, I don't know, plate armor or whatever, some weird stuff on them. You're like, well, that doesn't make sense. That
right,
looks,
and that's not even
weird.
That's not even like being a role player. That's just it just takes away from the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I just really like being able to see somebody and knowing exactly what they're wearing,
Yeah, especially if we have world PvP.
Yeah, exactly. Especially for world PvP. I'm a big PvPer, so a lot of the points that I'm making kind of always go back to that. I want to be able to look at someone and gauge my threat. Look at them and see how big of a challenge they'll be to take. Or if I should even mess with them, And I think the Transmog System just throws that all out of whack. Definitely. And something else they did was they just kind of started, I mean, they took away the identity of the Horde and the Alliance faction. And they started doing that in Burning Crusade when they made the Paladin and the Shaman playable on both factions.
Yeah, no, I think that's a game breaker for me as well. And even more so once they let you play whatever class you wanted on any race. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's just them once again catering to the people, and then they also added in all like the looking for group or the dungeon finder, which is another thing that took away a lot of the socialization in the game. When they
that's one thing I was going to talk about. Is I actually am an advocate for dungeon finder, but only to the degree where you don't have to spam in trade chat. Like, I think it's nice to be able to just put your role in and then get slotted with a group. And then obviously you can change that group based on if you know the person and they suck or whatever. But yeah, and I think you should still have to physically go to the instance. Like that's definitely what was a drawback from what they implemented, and just being able to be wherever you are and just teleport into it.
Yeah, that's really stupid. I still don't even like the fact that you just see an interface pop up and all of a sudden you're put into a group. It's just like, once again, I think that when you have to actually like talk to people and put a group together, and sometimes it's not so easy. There's just that little bit of kind of reward for doing it, and I think people are more likely to stick together when they know how hard it is. I mean, it's a social problem that they left in there on purpose when they first released the game. Like, it's a problem that the players have to solve and come together and work it out.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, people, they don't just like whisper random people, and that's like a really good way to get people in. You do your Slack.
Yeah, that's true.
That's definitely a really good way to get in.
Yeah, I was just thinking about maybe having an agreement between both of our takes on it, and I guess /shoot does kind of take care of that to some degree.
Yeah, it requires a little more work, of course.
Yeah, I think you kind of convinced me, actually. I think I'm totally fine with not having dungeon fighters. I guess the only reason why I did kind of want it for a minute is when I was playing on Darshire, it was a lot lower population, so I'd be trying to get a group going, and it would sometimes take an hour or I'd have to coordinate with my guild, and then, you know, that's a headache. And
yeah,
then I would think, okay, maybe I should just go quest for a bit, or, you know, maybe I'll miss out on the group if I don't stay in Ironforge or Stormwind or whatever.
Yeah, that is disheartening, to be honest. I can see exactly where you're coming from, but that is an issue with just like low pop, right?
Right, yeah. But as long as lots of people are playing, you know, I don't mind having to type a little bit or having to whisper somebody to get a group going, as long as it doesn't take an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely, it can be really frustrating. I know that. I've been there 1,000 times. Well, what other changes did they make? They made so many changes. I don't even know all the changes that they made to like retail WoW and throughout all the expansions, but I just know some of the big ones that they did. I know they made mounts easier to get. You get your first one like level 20, don't you?
Yeah, that's a no-no. That's stupid.
I don't like that at all. I think
after, you know, running around for 20 or 30 levels, like, you kind of forget how bad it is, and it just becomes part of the game again, and you enjoy it. You adapt to it.
Yeah, you do. And it makes the classes that get like those speed boosts or those speed buffs so much more enticing to play.
Right.
You get the
one thing I'm not sure about, like, I want to hear why. I don't know if they've ever posted why. I'm sure they have, but why they decided to give paladins free mount at level 40. I don't know if it was to incentivize people to roll the class or what, but maybe they should rethink that for classic potential.
You don't you think paladins should have to pay up like everybody else?
I just want to know why they don't, you know. That's what I'm saying. If there's a legitimate reason, then sure, keep it in.
Yeah, that's okay. So paladin gets a free mount. Warlock gets a free mount. Those are only two mounts that can be summoned, right?
Right. And then why do hunters and druids get a speed boost?
A shaman gets Ghost Wolf.
Yeah, I get that too.
Like, yeah. I don't know. It's a nice little flair that the classes have to make them stand out a little bit, I guess. Because druid, their travel form is pretty much just a mount. It's the same amount, 60% or something, isn't it? I can't remember. I think it is.
40, I think.
Is it 40?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty close to that.
Yeah, it's not too far off.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about world PvP and all the effects that, you know, through the later expansions that kind of came out and destroyed world PvP, which I thought was awesome. I mean, we already talked about the Hillsbrad foothill battles and everything like that. That was the biggest thing that drove me, or that always drives me back to Vanilla WoW, is just the big battles in Stranglethorn Vale, Hillsbrad. I mean, and you can go on.
Yeah, they're so much fun, and there's something about like loading into a zone and just seeing skeletons everywhere.
I know, and you're like, oh shit, what just happened? Like, I'm late. You know, that starts a lot of drama too, man. The drama is like one of the best things.
Yeah, definitely. World PvP is definitely the biggest igniter for like forum drama, and forum drama brings up some of the funniest posts ever.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Yeah.
But, and you can, you know, really create an identity for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's another thing in vanilla compared to current iterations, is that you really had a reputation. That was a thing back in vanilla. I still remember names of people.
Oh, for sure.
When I played when it launched. That's crazy.
Was Avatar big in vanilla WoW? Or was that? Yeah, that was definitely vanilla for sure. You know of Avatar, right?
Avatar?
Yeah. Maybe it was just my server. Yeah, it must have been actually. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's still iconic to me. But he on my server, he was. I think it was my server. Maybe my memory is just foggy. But anyway, he was a really popular hunter. He was like the server for 60. He was popular for tanking Nefarian and BWL as a hunter.
He was a hunter?
And, yeah. And he also got the Karaji mount when On Karaj came out.
See, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I still remember.
And I like things like that too.
Yeah, I still remember a rogue called Rip when I was like level 18, and he was a troll rogue, and he would just run around and gank everybody in like Duskwood. And it's like everyone was like talking about him because he's so much higher level than everybody else, and he's just like terrorizing the place.
Yeah.
Good memories, man. Getting ganked.
As infuriating as it is, I just laugh every time. Like, I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, I like it too.
As long as they don't like camp my body forever, or you know, if I could, like, if they say the Red Ridge Rapists take over Lakeshire, like, as long as I can get out of town and keep questing, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, that's against terms of service though, to corpse camp, griefing people.
Yeah, and I'm kind of, I don't know about that. Like, I think griefing is totally fine as long as someone doesn't like take it out of game. You know, I think it's totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
And if someone really wants to spend that much of their own time trolling somebody, like, it is just a game, you know.
Yeah. It wasn't back then, man. That was life.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of covers up topics on changes to WoW and that they made that we kind of don't like, and how, you know, we hope that doesn't happen to vanilla. We don't see any kind of these same patterns emerge from vanilla. Like if they start doing stupid stuff, which they always could. You never know. It's Blizzard, right?
Yeah.
I know a big topic for vanilla is add-ons. Add-ons were super important in vanilla, and you like add-ons, don't you?
I think there is a healthy balance, yes.
A healthy balance, okay. And what's that balance?
Anything that just makes your personal experience greater and doesn't give you an unfair advantage on someone who doesn't want to use them.
Okay. That makes sense. I don't like the add-ons. I don't like add-ons that, like, bigwigs, you know, tell you when the boss is going to do this, and you're not even paying attention to the fight. You're just looking at this little part of your screen that says, like, you know, move in 3 seconds or something. Or like there's even add-ons that will draw an AoE around a boss. Yeah, no,
I think those should not be allowed.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about are add-ons like even Questy, I think, should be barred when class comes out. But add-ons like so I have like a cleanup GUI. It just cleans up, you know, organizes your bag. I think that's nice because some people might like to do it. I don't really. I like it to just be done for me. And things like so like if I'm a healer, only if I'm a healer. Like if I'm any other class, I'm totally fine with the regular Blizzard UI. But if I'm healing, I like to have my party or raid, I like it to be like in the bottom to middle of my screen so that I can see it easier, and I don't necessarily care about looking at my character's animation as much.
Right. I really like the add-ons that just change the whole appearance of it, like X-Pearl or the Elven UI, stuff like that. I really like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm using Luna unit frames right now.
Yeah, I like
and that. Yeah, so that changes like your avatar, you know, like your character icon or whatever.
Yeah. And then there are some really cool like class specific ones. It basically ones that kind of trivialize some of the game content I don't like. I think DPS meters and threat meters are fine, maybe. I'm not too sure. See, the problem with add-ons like that is that they become a necessity. Like there actually are a requirement to go on raids. You have to have stuff like that.
Yeah, because it creates not only friendly competition, but it makes sure that everyone's putting forth their best effort. And when you have 39 other people with you, you know, there's going to be some slackers unless you're in the tip-top guild, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DPS meters are actually kind of... Yeah, I agree with DPS meters. It's kind of nice because it kind of plays into like another little game because, come on, DPS rolls pretty boring. You just,
yeah.
You just got your whatever rotation, and then when you have a DPS meter, it kind of starts a little friendly competition, like you said.
Right, and like I just want to know, like if I'm doing my absolute best, and I don't know where I'm standing at as far as DPS goes, like I'm gonna go crazy,
Yeah. And that is just pulling that information from the combat log, anyways.
Right.
So it's not that big, but yeah, I think I mostly prefer just add-ons that change appearance, and then maybe some other things like DPS meter I think is good. But the ones that kind of tell you how to play okay, I do not like Healbot.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. It tells you like rotation or something.
No, the Healbot, you just click on like your party member, you click on his icon, and then it picks what spell to cast based on how much health they have. So
that's so stupid.
It will D-rank for you. It will D-rank for you, like the heal level and all that stuff.
I mean, that should even be a question, right? That's just having the game play itself. It's stupid.
Sam loves it. He thinks it's the best thing. Yeah, it's too bad. Get him out of here. We don't want him. But yeah, he loves it. It's like whatever. I used it before, and I was like, this is so boring. This is so boring. Like, I might as well not.
I don't get it. I mean, unless someone actually thinks that's fun, like, I guess more power to them. But I don't know. I don't like it.
Moving on from the add-ons, and to go back to some stuff that they changed. Was cross realm, and I know that's a big thing. Like, I really hope we don't see any cross realm stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
And all that. I remember when they added that, and I did not like it because it just we already talked about it. It takes away from your reputation that you have on that server.
Yep. Also, they have like the battle group or whatever that has the list of realms that are crossed with each other. Say you're on like an alliance dominated server, and your alliance, and then you get put in a battle group where Horde is dominating. Like, that's completely changes the game for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. But that was just something I wanted to throw up there. Talk about that because I just thought of it, and I thought it was a good point to address.
Yeah.
So I think the last thing I kind of want to talk about is how World of Warcraft was when it was first released, how my experience was, and WoW was pretty much my first MMO that I played. I played EverQuest and I played Dark Age of Camelot, but that was only at a friend's house, so I didn't really get to sink my teeth into anything until WoW came out. And I remember when I first started playing, just like how big everything was. Like the trees were so big starting out in the Night Elf area. Like you were just in complete awe of everything.
Yep. I think I've told you before, but my first experience with WoW, was at Bobby's house, or his sister's house or something. And his brother brought over his computer, his older brother, and he loaded it up, and he got on this Night Elf Hunter, and he was, I think, doing maybe World PvP and Astronar.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that bridge going into the city, the town, whatever, and I just remember thinking it looked like not really a cartoon, but it was just like a dreamlike world almost, and I just couldn't. I was so just amazed by it.
Yeah. Especially for the Night Elf areas like Ashenvale and etc. It really is dreamy. The color scheme they used was really good too. With the vibrant colors, the color palette, because and keep you alert.
And while I don't always get that like dreamlike feeling anymore, one thing that has been concurrent, and I still get every single time that I log into the game, is whenever I'm in like an inn or any house with like a hearth in it. The fire going, like something about it, like they actually, they put in the sound to where it sounds like an inn, and like people bustling around from tables, like drinking and eating or whatever. like it makes me just feel like happy and warm inside.
Yeah, they did an amazing job at capturing that kind of stuff. I mean, there was a reason why it was so popular. It really did suck you in, you know. I don't think we'll ever get that experience though again, even with them releasing Classic. Yeah,
probably not.
I mean, like I said, it's kind of like getting high for the first time, you know. You're probably not going to get that high again ever, unless you take however many years of a break or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of why I want them to throw like tiny little twists here and there, is because maybe it will spark up kind of that initial reaction I had to the game.
Yeah, and as long as they're, you know, artistic additions and not just things that people have whined and cried about, I'm totally cool with trying it out. Yeah.
Another thing about when it was first released was that like nobody knew how to play.
Yeah, it's true.
Nobody knew what they were doing, man. I was just watching. I'm pretty sure I just told you like a couple days ago. I was watching a PvP video, you know, of Vanilla WoW, like World of Warcraft. I was rewatching that, and people were so bad in there. They were turning with their keyboard. They were backpedaling. They were clicking on their hotbars. Like it was just like the amount of inefficiencies was like I couldn't even count them on both hands. And now,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and now everyone has it down to a science, like you said earlier, and it's just gonna be. It's not gonna be the same experience. Is pretty much what I'm trying to say. It's gonna be a little different.
Right. Yeah, I agree completely. And going back to what we were talking about, like World PvP, as far as like balance goes for PvP, I think people are just better gamers in general, not only WoW. And I think that, you know, they can probably figure out ways to make classes more viable. And, you know, so they should definitely wait before there's any balance changes for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they'll hold off on stuff. Maybe do some, you know, I don't think I think they'll release Classic in its entirety that it used to be. I think they will do that because the outrage will be like, it'll be another like EA Battlefront 2 thing. It will be an EA Battlefront 2 thing if they do the voucher system like you were saying. I guarantee it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they could just wait and see if gold farming becomes an issue and then go from there.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I'm not going to spend any extra money. Fuck that.
Yeah, me neither. But we'll see. Well, I think,
and I'm gonna be upset about having to spend money on the game unless they actually do make changes that I want.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
I just meant not like changes, just like, you know. I mean, yes, changes. It just, you know, like the things we talked about. Sorry, I'm contradicting myself. I don't know, just like things that we as the community vote on. As long as they're listening to us and, you know, only adding in things at once and keeping the server up, and, you know, if it's a positive experience, then I'll be happy to pay for it.
Yeah, same here. I'm not worried about paying for it at all or anything like that.
It's not that I'm worried. It's just like I'm just thinking, okay, I could just play for free on a private server, you know.
Yeah, it's true, but it's not the same thing, right? I mean, private servers are located in what, Russia? Isn't that where they're located? I think so, yeah. So your latency isn't like fantastic. Then you get a mix of everyone, so there's some language barriers. And like the staff isn't as dedicated and responsive as a Blizzard full-time staff would be for GMs. So I'd be you know, I'd be interested to see it how they would do the server pop, because a lot of the private servers I have played on have been like well over 3,000 people. I mean, I was playing on Nostalrius when it was 12,000 peak, which is absolutely insane. And then Elysium launched, and it was like the same thing, you know. Yep. 2-hour queues to get in, and then once you got in, you couldn't even do anything because every single mob was being camped. Like that's how I had a level, was just sit there and like camp a mob at its spawn. And they did have dynamic spawn, so the more people that were around, the faster the spawn rates would be, because they had to combat it. So I wonder how what pop they'll give the servers. Probably like the same as they had them in the past, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
If only for stability reasons.
Yeah, and there was a when a server was like in its downtime, or when it was kind of when everyone was sleeping, it really showed, man. Like not many people were on compared to like peak, so you could go around and like do a lot of stuff that you couldn't do before, like have like not much competition for whatever resource or node you're trying to get.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder if they're going to offer realm transfers or not.
I don't see why they did before.
Yeah,
they did name changes and realm transfers.
Yeah, I never understood why it cost so much.
What was like 20 bucks?
Yeah, I mean, what would they have to do? Use a utility that they type our name in, it grabs our profile and moves it to the other server? Like, it just copy and paste, right, basically?
Yeah, probably. I would imagine so, but they just want that money.
Yeah. They probably made bank off of that.
Oh, I'm sure they did, dude. I'm sure they made bank off of the name change as well.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I've realm transferred and I've also name changed. So
okay,
that's what, $40.
Yeah, I don't like the name change, man. I don't like it.
Yeah, no, it's stupid looking back on it now. It's just I was younger and I don't know.
Well, you probably made a name that you didn't like, so you paid to change it, right?
Actually, I did like the name. I don't know why I changed it. I went from Nominius. I was a gnome mage. That was the coolest name ever. And Nominius. I changed it to like, I mean,
Slayer. XXX.
No, this was back when like I first started Token, right? So I mean, it was just whatever went, and so I don't want to go too deep into it, but like there's this girl in school that Bobby and Stephen and I called Turtle Girl, and I don't know why, but I changed it to that, and I also changed my sex to female. No.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was like an inside joke that you're okay.
Basically, yeah.
Turtle Girl. I'm surprised that wasn't taken, man.
Yeah.
I had
I wish I could remember why we called her Turtle Girl.
I never did a name change, but I got my name forced to be changed once. I had made a character called Dead Fetus. I was an undead female, like warlock or something. I named her Dead Fetus.
Nice.
I was like whatever, 17 or whatever, 16.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I got my name was forced to be changed from that.
Why?
Yeah, I know. I don't get it. That's not offensive. But yeah, I could see him bringing name changes and server transfers back again. I don't have that big of a problem with server transfers at all. I don't know. It makes sense because your friends are on here, and then like now you want to go play with them, and it kind of just makes sense to me. But name changes, right, I think it kind of.
I put all this effort into the character. Why can't I just keep playing him?
Yeah, just play him over there with my friends. Like, yeah, but the name change, it kind of takes away from your actions in the game having permanent consequence. Like, what if you're just a big ninja looter, and then all of a sudden you just change your name?
Yeah,
it's just kind of a reset for all your actions. So that's the only reason I don't like it.
Right, and maybe that's one thing that being able to use your BattleNet ID in the game could take care of.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
So that way you keep your identity, but also if you want to be Dragon Slayer XX one day and you decide, hey, that's actually a really stupid name, you can change it to something else.
Legolas XX Goku XX.
There you go, yeah.
All right, well, I think that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to talk about. I'm really excited for Classic WoW. I can't wait. Actually, there's one thing I wanted to add about Classic WoW. My biggest concern with it is that it launches around the same time Pantheon does. So Pantheon is the other MMO that I'm really, really looking forward to. And if
you're gonna have to tell me some more about it.
Yeah, if vanilla, that's the game that me and Andrew usually cover on here, and we're going to be covering a lot more of Pantheon because we're really excited for it. But if Pantheon launches and then like a week later, Vanilla WoW comes out, I'm probably just going to stick with Pantheon. I don't really see myself, unless Pantheon just like sucks totally, but I don't see that happening. But we'll see. But yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to throw in there. Is there anything else that you want to throw in there before we wrap up?
One other change that I really want is dual spec.
Oh yeah. I kind of hope they do that. It makes for some classes it's not very fair, you know, like you're a priest. Okay, well I have to go raid this day. Now I have to spec into holy. Well, now I want to go out and world PvP or do some battlegrounds or something. Well, now I got to go respec to shadow. You know, and you're playing this flip flop, constantly spending gold. I can't even remember what it maxes out at. Do you remember what it maxes out at? So like,
I want to say like 50 gold or something ridiculous.
Gold. Yeah.
It may not be that high, but still, like anything over 5 gold is way too much.
Yeah, that's a lot, man.
One thing I thought about is if for some reason dual spec is downvoted by the community in general, maybe they could just make it cheaper and then keep it a consistent, you know, price. Then and thereafter.
Yeah, I would imagine it would just be like making a bank slot or something like that, like an extra.
Yeah, so I think the idea was to either to incentivize to stick with one talent tree spec, or to maybe have another gold sync venue for the game.
Yeah, I think they kind of do need gold syncs, at least at higher levels.
Yeah, just don't have it insane so that you have to play constantly and farm constantly or whatever, you know, just so you can play the game how you want.
And the problem is like some of the classes that can make the most gold don't need dual specs.
Right. Yeah.
Hunter doesn't need to do dual spec. Mage doesn't need to do dual spec.
Yeah, exactly. Mage and Hunter, and they're probably the best farmers in the game, right?
Yeah. So I would like to see that. I think if they do that, I'm not sure how dual spec like exactly works. I don't know if you can just change it on the fly. I hope you can't change it on the fly.
No, usually you have, like I'm okay if you have to be like in a city to do it. That
talk
would be
to
fine.
Your trainer in a
exactly
city.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. Just basically just have it not cost anything, you know.
Yeah, and then you can just kind of swap between them. Put something like that in there. Don't take away the shit that you can just do on the fly. Queuing up for battlegrounds while you're on a griffin, you know, flying, is just making more interaction with NPCs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think interaction should just be physical. I definitely like that.
Yeah, it definitely gives more weight to whatever decision you're making. Doesn't even matter what it is. Having to click on this and talk to a guy and then do this, it gives it a little more weight, you know, a little more immersiveness.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of what is an oxymoron to say physical, but I think everyone understands what I mean.
Yeah. We get it. You're in the world. You're plugged in.
Yeah.
You don't know the difference between you and your character.
You are talking to Morning Elf right now.
Yeah, you're playing right now on
yeah. I've kind of been like I was questing earlier, and then I started like being focused more, and I've just been like jumping around the inn in Red Ridge for a while.
Yeah.
I was actually I'm in the basement right now of the inn, and there's like a random dead orc down there. It's hilarious. As goal.
That's where he belongs.
Yeah.
Disgusting horde. Just kidding. I love the horde. Hey, if anyone is wanting to play with us or give us gold, we love gold.
Yes.
Come on to the server. We're on the Alliance side. My name on there is Dirty Houdini. Jaryd is Morning Elf. Morning as in he's sad. He's crying. Isn't that right?
/ cry.
They just changed the server name. It's
Again?
Lightbringer.
Oh yeah, no, that was like 4 days ago, I think, something like that.
What did they change it to? I can't remember. Lightbringer. Okay, so
Yeah,
it got
Elysium,
rebranded
right?
under Light's Hope, and then Elysium got rebranded under Light's Hope, and then now they made the actual server name Lightbringer. Okay, got it. Yeah, we're on Lightbringer, Alliance side. Still kind of low, taking our time, doing whatever. I feel like I don't have that much of an urge to play anymore since they announced Classic WoW, though, to be honest.
Right.
And maybe that's why they did it too. Is like, well, if we announce it really, really early, then maybe people will just kind of stop playing on the private servers. And also, if people stop playing on the private servers now, when Classic WoW actually comes out, it will be such a long gap between when they played on a private server and then when they're playing on the retail Classic servers that they might be invested a little longer and won't get burned out as quick.
Yeah, that's a good point. And yeah, we're gonna be fiending for it.
Yeah, definitely.
At that point. No, I mean, I don't have any drive to go hardcore and level like crazy. Like I just like that's why I'm in right now and talking in this cast, because I just like being in the world. And I don't know. As long as I'm in the game, like, I'm happy.
Yeah.
As sad as that is.
But yeah, hopefully Pantheon, there's maybe a little bit of a gap between them, but yeah, I'll talk to you about Pantheon and get you on the in, fill you in on, be part of the loop, the cool kids club. But that's pretty much it, unless there's another thing that you want to add. I'm good.
Wait, was that like a reference to like the KKK?
Absolutely
Cool
not. Absolutely not.
That's the first thing that popped into my mind.
Definitely not, dude. How dare you? You should be ashamed. But yeah, I guess that covers it then. Once again, my name is Brad. Joining me was Jared. This is the Fantasy Forge cast. Logging out.